You've probably found out by now that using Zwift is a lot of fun, but you can make it a lot more fun if you pay attention to your equipment setup.
Yeah, the less time you spend thinking about your gear during a session, the more you'll be able to enjoy the Zwift experience, if sweating in your spare room is something you enjoy.
Anyway, these are our 6 top tips for getting the best out of your Zwift setup, starting with
if you're cycling indoors, then you're not getting any airflow to cool you down, and without a fan you'll soon cook. This isn't an area to scrimp, folks. A really good fan can change your whole indoors training experience. We find that the best ones are freestanding gym fans. You can pick one up for about 30 or 40 quid. They don't take up much space and they push huge amounts of air. They're a bit noisy, but you're on a turbo trainer. Stick the fan on the floor to the front and the side of your bike and angle it up so it's blowing the air up your torso to your face. And feel the difference.
sweat is bad for your bike. This is really important, so I'm going to say it again, a bit louder. Sweat is bad for your bike. Your sweat is really salty and it can corrode your frame and components. The thing you're most likely to ruin is your stem, because that's where most of it goes. But here's one we prepared earlier. You can see that the clamp is badly corroded. It's probably still safe to ride, but it's only has lost its looks. Anyway, you want to stop the sweat getting into your gear. The simplest and cheapest way to do that is just to drape a towel over your handlebars. That will pick up the drips and you can use it to wipe yourself down as well during a session. You can also get sweat catchers that fit over handlebars and extend along your top tube, and they cover all the important bits that are likely to be affected by the sweat. They look a bit more pro as well, but keep a towel handy just in case.
There's a whole level of interacting on Zwift that's quite hard to access when you're using your laptop or, like here, a computer and a big screen. Most importantly, when you're riding in Zwift, you often get a choice of directions, and picking one using a computer can be tricky. On top of that, it's difficult to send messages in a group ride, wave at people, give them a ride on, flick the elbow, the list goes on. That's where your smartphone comes in. There's an app called Zwift Mobile Link, which is available on iOS and Android. Just install that, and so long as your phone and your computer are on the same Wi-Fi network, you'll be able to access all those functions from your handlebars. The Mobile Link app also makes it a lot easier to sign up to Zwift events such as races or group workouts. All those functions are available from your smartphone too. A word of warning though, mount the phone on your bars and you'll probably be sweating all over it. Phones aren't that keen on you doing that, so an out front mount like this one moves your phone a little further out of harm's way. Our favourite solution though is to pick up an articulated arm like this with a phone holder. You can buy one online for not much more than a tenner. Then you can keep your phone in range without dripping all over it. It's worth noting that the app is just called Mobile Link, not Zwift Mobile Link, if you're having trouble finding it once you've downloaded it.
One thing that makes the time go quicker and the legs pump harder is listening to some banging tunes while you're banging out the miles. One way to do that is just pump up your stereo. That's fine if your neighbours and your family don't mind you making loads of noise while you're on Zwift, but it might be easier if you keep the noise to yourself. We suggest that you invest in some Bluetooth headphones. There are plenty out there designed for running and gym work, so you're used to getting sweat on them and should be just fine for your indoor training sessions. And you won't be forever looping the cable back over your bars or cursing that it's too short and pulling the buds out of your ears when you're doing a session. In-ear Bluetooth headphones can cost from a little £10 to £15, or you can spend a bit more from a brand you've heard of, or a lot more. It's really up to you.
Get a training mat. There's a number of reasons to use a training mat. For a start, indoor trainers are noisy, especially on wooden floors like this. A rubber mat can deaden the sound quite a bit, which is good news if the kids are sleeping in the room next door or your neighbours are trying to watch telly the other side of the wall. A mat also keeps your trainer from moving around. It's not unusual for a trainer to creep forwards if you're working hard, and on occasion we've moved it so far we've pulled the power cable out of the back, which kind of spoils the workout. Lastly, a mat is easy to wipe down after a ride. You don't want all the sweat soaking into the carpet or staining the floorboards, do you? You can use a cheap yoga mat and get most of the benefit here. The more expensive trainer-specific mats dampen the sound more because they're thicker. Which should you buy? Well, it depends how much the noise is a problem.
You may or may not already use chamois cream on your shorts when you go for a ride outside, but we find it makes a big difference to our saddle comfort. On an indoor trainer, you don't move about in a saddle as much, you don't tend to spend as much time out of the saddle, so it's even more important to pay attention to your nether regions. Chamois creams vary in consistency and feel, so it might take you a few goes to find one that suits you. Charlie the Bike Monger's Happy Bottom Bum Butter is one of my favourites, not least for its name. Our top tip for getting comfy on a budget is to look at udder cream. The clue's in the name actually there. It's actually for spreading on cows' udders to prevent irritation. But it's very similar to chamois cream in its formulation, and it's about half the price, and you get to have an awkward conversation with your other half about what you need it for when it arrives in the post.
So, those are our 6 top tips for getting your Zwift setup dialed. We hope you found them useful. If you've got any questions about any of this, just ask in the comments below.
And make sure to give it a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe to the road.cc channel for more videos like this, and thanks for watching.